ECU? Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
Welcome in, Hoist the Colors on a Friday. Busy edition of the show ahead. ECU baseball, of course, in action this weekend. Senior weekend, they host Rice. Feels like it's been quite some time since they played a game because it's almost been a full week. They get underway tonight, 6 o'clock. ECU softball plays into Friday morning. Stayed up to about 1:30 a.m. I was watching it from home. Philip Pilkington was watching it from the stadium. We'll get his take in a few minutes. They had an incredible game against North Texas in the quarterfinal. Blow a 1-0 lead in the top of the seventh. Anna Sawyer, senior, in what could have been her final plate appearance, ties it after almost North Texas gets a pop out in foul territory, but it's dropped. Next pitch, she doubles to the gap, ties the game. Then she hits a walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth a few innings later. So ECU softball, which is hosting the conference tournament in Greenville, moves on, and they will play Wichita State 3:30, and we'll be out there for that. So looking forward to that before the baseball game. Hopefully they keep it going. If they do, championship will be noon on Saturday. We also have big basketball news. ECU signing some notable players in this offseason, quietly coming together for Michael Schwartz and his staff. And we're going to talk about the proposal of the expanded college football playoff field, and Tim Pernetti, American Conference Commissioner, is getting into some potential group of five playoff discussion. How do we feel about that? There are some caveats to it we'll get into. So we got a lot to get to. We got our usual Friday crew back. We got Bobby Harward in studio. He's brought to you by Sup Dogs today. Bobby, I'm fired up for today's show, man. I was fired up when we just knew we were going to have some talking points with these proposals, but I'm also fired up because softball winning, basketball making moves, big things are happening, man.
A big day on the show today. I'm excited for it. Philip and I were talking when I walked in. Like, these are the days that we look forward to in terms of, like, you get some hypothetical talk, some good news happening around ECU athletics. Anna Sawyer, former student of mine at DH Conley. I was telling Philip, I had her first semester at Conley. We were playing Two Truths and a Lie as a icebreaker, and she said she was committed to Duke for softball. And I said that was a lie, which was, in fact, truth at the time, because she switched over to the Pirates later, I guess, in her high school career, and for good reason. It paid off last night, so glad to see her having success. Glad to see the girls continuing on. And ECU basketball is back.
Are you back on the train?
It's back. I pulled out my Minji's Madness T-shirt that hasn't been worn in probably like 18 months, but Schwartz is a dog on the trail, and we're back, baby.
Wow. Did he just say that Schwartz is a dog on the trail?
Yeah, I think I heard that wrong. I think my ears are playing tricks on me from the lack of sleep I've had.
I will say Bobby has been fairly critical, and like when I mean fairly, like fair in his criticalness of the program. I don't know if that's a word, but either way, like he's made some valid complaints, but like also when they do a good job, you're going to be fair in telling them they've done a good job too. So
yeah, absolutely. I know we're going to get into this later, but I think just the way this roster has been put together, like, it's something that makes sense. The pieces make sense. I'm not saying we're going to go out and be one of the 76 teams to make the tournament or in the NIT.
As well.
But at least it makes sense, and it's something like, hey, we have hope going into next year, so I can be optimistic about that. And two, it also shows, to me, growth from Mike Schwartz, which is also a huge thing. It's not the I'm smarter than everybody else attitude that rubs everyone the wrong way. It's, hey, I can learn from this and I can grow, and I think he's showing that.
No doubt, some big pickups for Pirate Hoops. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's lead with softball, Philip. All right, so look, I felt like a trooper just watching it. You were there, and you stuck it out through the rain delay, and it went back.
Yeah,
so,
I was going to say quasi stuck it out. I may have went and had a beer and some apps during the rain delay. I'm just being honest.
That counts. I mean, as long as you make it back.
We did make it back.
That counts as sticking out through the rain delay. Because, like, there's no real great press box there. So, I mean, you could have stood inside and done nothing, but you would have been jammed in there, and you were just trying to pass the time like everybody else.
Yeah, I was. Hey, my boys Tommy and Davis stayed with me, especially shout out to Davis. He had to work graduation this morning, and he stayed. Tommy at least doesn't have to go into work till 3 o'clock today. But, the other thing that you guys had mentioned earlier, you mentioned that it could have been Anna's last plate appearance. It still would have been her last plate appearance had she not had the diving catch in the top of the 7th that saved at least one run from scoring immediately because there was a run on third, but it was 2 outs, so who knows what would have happened the rest of the inning. So she had 3 spectacular plays, arguably one of the best East Carolina single-game postseason performances ever.
I agree. I mean, watching that, the catch, the game-time double, the walk-off home run, like all those things in a span of 3 innings, all directly impacting the final outcome of the game. And, just listening to her talk post-game on the broadcast, like what a great representative of ECU. Greenville, D.H. Conley, shout out Vikings. Anna Sawyer, 3 for 5, and the walk-off home run. By the way, good job with the post-game with Shane Winkler. I watched that on the way over. And he made a good point, in the top of the 7th, you're up 1-0, you blow that lead. Like, that can easily snowball. And Julia Apostolakis did not let it snowball. She ended up getting out of the jam, keeping it there because, this isn't a great offense, but you got to keep it at 1 to have a realistic shot. And obviously Sawyer's catch made a great impact there, Phillip. But them being able to put that behind them, start at the bottom of the 7th with the walk, with the bottom of the order, like they showed some real mental toughness there.
They did. And, the job done in the circle. Julia threw 161 pitches last night. I mean, I get it's softball, but that's still insane. The endurance that she had. And look, there was traffic in most innings. They didn't let up any runs till the 7th, but there was traffic. She pitched very well and attacked hitters with the bases loaded sometimes or with somebody in scoring position. And then in the 9th, Sydney Rainford, who came in relief and got the win, she faced a bases loaded deal. Their best hitter came up, the one who had hit the go-ahead hit. I think it was an intentional walk. They didn't show 4 fingers, but I think they were trying to see if she could change or chase. Then the next batter came up, their second best hitter, walked her. I think those were kind of intentional, but then she hits the following batter. She's all of a sudden in a bases-loaded jam. She comes right at the next couple hitters, attacks them. Sydney Rainford, a freshman on the mound, showing maturity beyond her years. Apostolakis, as you mentioned multiple times throughout that, doing what she did with runners in scoring position, not folding when that out hat or when the lead was taken. And then also going back to Anna, when she made the diving catch, the crowd rightfully so reacts. Anna knows the game's not over. Anna knows that catch didn't win her the game, and she just jogs back to the dugout like nothing happened. Focus, eye of the tiger. She gave a small smile, but she knew she had to come up and hit in that inning because she was due up. She was the third hitter, and I'm sitting there and I texted you, Steven. I'm like, would this not suck if this would suck if she ends up being the last out? Because they go 1, 2, 3. She's the last out after making that catch, and sure enough, they come through. She has the hit, and just the calm, cool collectiveness of everyone on that roster.
No doubt. Big time win, ECU softball. So today, FAU South Florida at 1 o'clock. It's almost been basically chalk at this point. I think the entire bracket has, with some drama.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's been 4 walk-offs in 6 games.
Yeah. So Wichita State is the 2 seed. They'll play ECU at 3:30 is the scheduled first pitch. And then the top seed South Florida playing FAU. Again, single elimination. So season on the line. If ECU wins, they go to the championship tomorrow. Automatic bid to the tournament on the line. So my question is, before we move on to hoops, like I can't say her name. Apostolakos. 161 pitches. I mean, she probably comes back today in some capacity, but I don't know. Do you think she starts the game? Or do you think they started with Sydney Rainford?
I'm going to guess he starts Sydney.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, God, last night was so late that there's a kink in so many things, too. I did give Shane some crap. He told us after he got done.
That's the first thing I thought about when this game kept
He was like, man, if it takes till 1 a.m. And he walked up before the press conference like, yeah, I said something earlier in the week about it. I said, yeah, that's going to be the first question, bud, after I hugged him when he walked up. So he's like, yeah, I deserve that one. So, yeah. I don't know. So back to your question, I would guess they go Sydney.
Yeah.
And then they've got kind of a quick hook on her, would be my guess.
Wichita State's at 80-something home runs this year, so they can...
That's a bad number for them.
Yeah, they usually drop some bombs. Yeah. A lot more than ECU, though.
Yeah.
Bobby, going to make it out there this weekend for some softball?
No, I was hoping the championship game was Sunday. We're out of town tomorrow, and then obviously I work this afternoon, so I can't.
And just take your laptop out there and post up.
No, I actually have a hour and a half long meeting right during that time, so that's fantastic. But I probably will turn it on the TV, though, so I will be watching. Funny thing, last night I was actually watching the Hurricanes game, was going to bed, and I checked my phone one last time and saw it was going into the delay. So as y'all's night was just getting started, I was shutting my eyelids.
Good for you, man. Good for you. We're running on fumes, but shout out to Philip. He was there, and it was not a warm night either. So.
No, the one thing I will say, Stephen, I make it quick because everybody's kind of wanting us to move on to other stuff. I was having flashbacks to the Texas game. It's like, oh my goodness, we're going to be here into the wee hours of the morning. They're going to lose. We're going to have to deal with all the players crying like we did with Carter Cunningham. Please don't let them lose if I'm going to be here till 1-something in the morning. And, of course, that time we were there till about 3 in the morning.
Yeah,
but,
that was a miserable day.
At least it didn't end that way.
No doubt. No doubt. We'll see how it continues today. Wichita State 3:30. All right, basketball news. Man, ECU continues to add to what's been a very solid offseason. They get 2 of their top targets. Been talking to some sources over there. They've been focused on these guys. Kasim Watson, 6'9", stretch forward, transfer from UTEP, also spent some time at Delaware State, averaged 12.5 points per game last year, 5 rebounds, 38% from three-point range, and he commits. UNLV, UAB were also in there as well. Initially thought of as kind of a power 4 type player, makes his way to East Carolina. So you now add that person into probably your projected starting lineup. I'll go over that here in a minute. And then Maxim Klitschko out of Ukraine, and one of the top international big guys. He's 21 years old. Really the bigs market in the United States with transfers is overblown. There's just not a lot of good players. So a lot of teams are going overseas to Europe to find these big guys. ECU was on Maxim pretty early. He's the son of Vitaly Klitschko, one of the famous boxers, and also the mayor of Kiev. I don't know if I can pronounce that right either. But massive addition. Ole Miss was in there. Also in there late was UCLA, trying to get him as kind of a backup big. He wants to play. He's 21 with this new ruling. He may only have a few years left. You can only play 5 years after you turn 19 if that goes through. So some factors there, but credit ECU staff. They were on him early. Now you have, to me, a projected starting lineup of Sion Medley, the point guard from Penn State, Bryson Blaine, shooting guard from Charleston Southern, Caden Cooper, the wing from Louisiana Tech, Kasim Watson, your stretch 4 from UTEP, Klitschko probably at center. Also the JUCO big Matthew Hinton coming in. You have Jay Shane Woodard coming back, Eli DeLaurier coming back. You had the shooting guard Jordan Buchanan, and then you also have some freshmen, Dahi Quinn coming off injury, Ashton McCullough out of California, and Draylon Creasy, the 4-star wing. So you have one spot left, Bobby, but this is starting to come together quite nicely.
Yeah, as I alluded to, in our intro, I'm pretty excited about this, what they've been able to put together and construct roster-wise. I know at one point, kind of after we had gotten those shooting guards, we had gotten, I believe it was Hinton committed. Yeah. Things had started to die down, and I was starting to lose faith because, we started off pretty well in terms of the guys we were pulling. But it was like, man, we're still missing some more shooting. We need some wing help. And you had mentioned this on the board, so another plug to make sure you're VIP subscribing to Hoist the Colors. Like, hey, there's some things in the works. Be patient. And both of those things, irons in the fire, ended up hitting for ECU in their favor. So to get
which often doesn't happen. When
I
when I allude to these things, it's like usually like there's something coming. Oh, it fell apart. Sorry.
Yeah, and you're intentionally being vague because you don't want to let the cat out the bag either from the staff's perspective, or if this falls through, like everybody getting their hopes up and then you getting the blame for everything. Yeah. But again, it's a well put together roster that makes sense. I think you've mentioned this. I'd love to see a scoring guard that can shoot it, kind of a combo guard position, maybe even more so of a point guard to help. But I love what they have right now. If Ori on the message boards is on board, I'm on board.
And he is. And if you're unfamiliar with Ori, major analytical poster, Very critical, but like usually calls it about 90% correct, and he's for a lot of these moves. So and he projects ECU currently as a top 125 talent team. So we'll see how that plays out.
I mean, that'd be the best in probably my time following the Pirates.
A long time. Philip, we're going to dive more into this roster next week, like player by player, how it all fits together. But your initial thoughts on how this is coming together as well.
We're excited about a big that we got. Has that ever happened before? I mean, I guess
Gio last year.
Gio, yeah. But we've got a guy who's done it at in a similar conference, a guy who runs the floor well, a guy who's not just a big dorky body. You're right. I mean, I'm not saying Gio was any of those things, but it's just, like I said, we'll go into the roster more as a whole, but when you've got a guy who's coming in, it's like dad and uncle professional athletes. Footwork is known for being good, which you would expect as a son of boxers. He's going to be tough and not be, a normal like basketball player that gets, breathed on and then falls down like Shea. So there's that. There's a guy who, again, has done it at a similar level as a big. You've got the fun 4-star freshman coming in. You've got some shooters. Like, this is how off-season portal acquisitions are supposed to feel. This is how you're supposed to build a team through the portal. Like, this is looking like how normal basketball programs, as crazy as it sounds to say, or as funny as it sounds to say, really, feel going into mid-May. This is great. I'm optimistic. I'm excited.
You've got like 4 or 5, maybe even 6, like guys who have kind of proven they can play at this level, and then you got guys that are intriguing that clearly have upside. You have a few wild cards. Like, I just feel like last year it was like nobody was really a proven scorer outside of Jordan Riley, and we kind of saw that play out. So I do like that they've kind of gone into each bucket. The real question is Vitaly Klitschko going to take a break from the war efforts to make an appearance inside Minji's Coliseum?
Oh, absolutely.
You think so?
Yeah, for sure. I think
because he is as the mayor of Kyiv. He's got a lot going on, but it would be pretty sick if he showed up.
Yeah, that'd be bonkers. Kind of be like when Ralph Sampson made an appearance at Minji's.
That is true. Philip, you going to be there for when Klitschko shows up?
With my luck, I'll get stuck producing that game. Every time something cool happens, I get stuck producing it.
That's fair. All right, let's get a break in. Again, we'll dive more into basketball really next week. We'll have some basketball-specific shows, deep dive into some of these guys as we get deeper into the offseason. When we come back, new proposal from the American Coaches Association with the college football coaches on how they would like to see a 24-team CFP field, and also talk about a Group of 5 playoff. We'll get into those discussions next on Hoist the Colors.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted.
The Pirates play here.
Time to play the game!
This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors on a Friday. A lot of softball, basketball talk, segment 1. Sub Dogs bringing you Bobby Harvard today, who is supporting the Bobby's in the program, and Sub Dogs just supporting him. This is what happens when Philip tells me to do something in my ear that I'm not prepared for.
You can say it this way. Subs supports ECU Hoops NIL. Bobby is in here wearing ECU Hoops shirt. He's back on board thanks to Sup Dogs.
Sorry, we did not. I don't think we did one first.
We did not. We did not. You were doing your job. I failed to do mine, so I'll take the error. Check them out, 213 East 5th Street, Greenville, Sup Dogs, Crush Vodka, and that is literally every recruit I go to follow for ECU basketball, Sup Dogs is already following them. So, like, they're getting the scoop, too. They're putting in the recruiting efforts as well, and obviously paying off for Coach Schwartz and his squad. All right, so a couple things here. We'll start with the proposal from the American Football Coaches Association. And so this is a multi-pronged proposal. I'll read their overall proposal, and then we'll get into the potential 24-team playoff discussion. The AFCA board announced Tuesday 4 proposed calendar changes. Number 1, ending conference championship games. Number 2, reducing open weeks in the seasons from 2 to 1. Number 3, preserving an exclusive window for the Army-Navy game in December, but allowing postseason games to be played on the same day. And number 4, reducing the minimum number of days between games to no fewer than 6. This proposal was also included with a statement that they would advocate for the maximum number of playoff inclusion possible, which basically in the business would mean 24-team playoff. All these changes would be to reduce the season calendar, therefore you'd have more playoff time. They also want the season to end, I think, by the second week in January, not extend any further like it continues to do. So basically what this 24-team playoff would mean, as I understand it, this would not be to where every team gets a automatic, or every conference gets an automatic bid. It would still be the group of 5 conferences are guaranteed 1 bid for sure. And in addition, obviously, if you had, a year where Boise and James Madison both finished in the top 20, or even like last year, Tulane and James Madison would have theoretically been in this 24-team playoff, you could still get multiple teams in. So, for example, last year, you would have had the top 8 seeds get a first-round bye. This would have been last year's bracket. Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas Tech, Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma. Then you would have 24 through 9 playing first-round games on on-campus venues. So it would have been James Madison at Alabama, Iowa at Miami, Georgia Tech at Notre Dame, Houston at BYU, Tulane at Texas, Virginia at Vanderbilt, Michigan at Utah, Arizona at USC. And then it would obviously filter down from there. So,
wait, is this not so? The ACC champion's not guaranteed a spot in this?
According to the 23+1 model, it would be the 23 highest ranked teams and the group of 5 champions. So I guess not, because Miami is in there, but the ACC champion is not.
Okay.
So yeah. That is how I read it when I read multiple things. So I think they would if they actually went to the 2014 model, they'd probably tweak it to where maybe those teams do get in. But anyways, before we dive into further discussion, how do we feel? I mean, right now it's at 12. There's been talk of it going to 16. How do we feel about 24-team playoff? Is that too much? Does it help ECU? What do you think, Bobby?
I don't think it's too much. I love it. Yeah, I'm a fan of the playoff expansion. I was actually, as you were talking and going through that, I was going through that proposal I'd written up in 2024.
That, yeah. I was going to bring that up.
And I had 32 teams, so that's what I had wanted to see was 32 teams in it. But I think 24 is a good start. I've kind of the way, and that's based upon the way things have been trending recently within college athletics. The value of the conference championship game is just not there anymore. That makes sense to me to get rid of that, and also expanding it, like the value of the bowl games is not like it was 10 years ago. Like when we beat Ohio in the Beef O'Brady's Bowl, that was a big deal. When we went to the Birmingham Bowl against Florida, that was a big deal. Like nowadays, the bowl games just don't have as much value. And personally, as a fan of football, I would rather see playoff games. And also, I'm a fan of the home field, like on campus playoff games. To me, you're on campus. I understand maybe the championship game and probably even the semifinals, but up till that point in time, play on campus. Like that's what I would love to see.
How do you feel about this, Philip?
I like 24. I vouched for 24, but I want to see every conference champion in. FBS football is the only exception. You have 24 FCS teams. Every conference champion now gets in. The Ivy League chose to opt out for so many years. That's why they weren't getting in. D2, D3, JUCO, conference champions get in. Every other collegiate sport, conference champions get in. I say if you earn the right to win your conference championship, you've earned the right to play. I'm all for 24. I like what Bob said there, limit the amount of games. However, I don't think I would guess the quarterfinal on is going to be neutral site just solely because of the, prestigiousness of the cotton, the rose, the orange, the sugar. The Fiesta's modern for prestigiousness, but it's been grouped with the rest of them. And I think I was missing one in there, peach, I guess. But yeah, I still think I don't like the 23-1. I like the 10 and then 14 at-large teams.
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to happen because I think the only reason they would go to 24 is because the Big Ten and SEC want as many teams in as possible.
And they can get that. They're going to get all damn 14 at-large spots anyway.
I know, but they're going to.
Other than one Notre Dame gets.
They're going to. I think you have a better shot of getting a 22 plus 2. Maybe you save group of 5 conferences, get 2 automatic champions in. I don't know. I just don't see them allowing Conference USA and some of these teams. And I'm not even trying to hate. I would love to. I agree with your idea. I would love to see all conference champions get in. I think they deserve it. But I just think that college football, the powers that be aren't going to let it happen. And I don't know, maybe plus 2. I'll live with that.
Plus 2 would be nice. And you had asked, in your original questioning too, was does this help ECU? I think it does. I mean, you think if they're ranked, 22nd or whatever, they're probably going to get in, even if they're not the top group of 5 teams. So it does give a chance for the G5 to sneak a second team in there, and maybe in some off years, a third year. Now, will that then trigger off another realignment or restructuring type thing, kind of like we saw this past season? I don't know, but I do think it benefits the Pirates and giving them more of an opportunity.
Kenny says yes to 24. He says now make the playoff games be the bowl games at the home campuses. So I don't know if you could pull that off, but maybe some sort of sponsorship deal to where the first round is sponsored as the first round playoff game brought to you by, let's just say Chick-fil-A, and that's thrown on the midfield. I don't know.
I don't hate it. So the mindset there, because to maximize revenue is 100% on. The unfortunate thing is right now, the bowl sponsorships are a joint with the sponsor, ESPN, and the current stadium. And a lot of these are NFL stadiums, and ESPN may not end up with the rights to all these games. So that's the issue. So you have to renegotiate total new deals. But if it's going to help the teams playing in it have more revenue share for the next year, by all means, let's do it. Let's start calling it the McDonald's Bowl in Greenville.
And not even help with revenue share for the next year, help with revenue share for like paying for them to compete in the playoffs. Maybe you get extra checks or whatever to hand out to them so they stay and play.
Shores 444 agrees to the on-campus playoff games. I would like to see, and I'm with Bobby and you guys here, like, to me, the on-campus playoff games are the most entertaining, just seeing the crowds into it, man, and it's a lot of fun to witness. Like, I would just – and in this scenario, like, there's a real possibility that if ECU had a special year, finished in the top 16, you could host a playoff game. I mean, it would be insanity. Like, I don't know how realistic that is, but ECU has finished ranked 9th nationally before, long time ago. I mean, it's possible versus, like, having to be, top 8 as it's constructed now, I think. So it's I think it's cool. And, I mean, the reality is, like, at the end of the day, you're probably going to have the top 4 or 5 seeds more years than not win the national title. Now, Miami was kind of an exception last year. I think they had top-tier talent, but they didn't perform like it, so they got in. But and some of this will just be for a money grab. You're having extra games. But I think the whole first round would be very entertaining. You'd have some blowouts just like you do now. It would mean more teams are included. The only downside is it does water down the regular season, which I think would be the potential downside. But, for a team like East Carolina, every game is still critical. Maybe for teams like Alabama, Ohio State, you could still finish 9-3, 8-4, and get in. But, like, for ECU, it's still going to be do or die to make a playoff if there's only 1 or 2 spots.
Yeah, that is true. I was wondering how it would water down, but that makes sense. It gives them more room for error. Now, if they actually hold their feet to the fire on these, like, obviously the 9 conference games, the 10th game against another P4 team, like, at least there'll be some more competitive matchups, and hopefully I'd love to see kind of like the ACC Big Ten Challenge type deal, or now the SEC, like, and align the heavy hitters in the conference up is how I would like to see that 10th game matched up. I think that would be pretty cool.
One thing, though, you mentioned Bama could still go 8-4 and make it. Yeah, they could, and go on the road. Like, it's no different than the Big 12. Like, Kansas can go 24-10 and still be the number 4 or 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. So, like, it's happening in other sports. Same with baseball. You can lose games. But, yeah, I mean, difference in Bama going on the road to Ole Miss or hosting Ole Miss, there's a difference there.
Well, give me 8-4 Bama at 11-1 ECU, 24 versus 16 first round matchup.
There we go.
That would be electric. We'll see a preview September 5th. So the real question is, I think this is eventually going to go to 24. I know we got to get a break. And does it go to 16 and then 24? I was listening to a podcast. They're like, let's go to 16, see how that works, and then we go to 24. I almost think, like, with as fast as NCAA tournament thing moved, like, and TV wanting to maximize revenue, it wouldn't shock me if they just go straight to 24.
I was going to say, if the Big Ten and the SEC want 24, it's going to go to 24.
Yeah.
And honestly, and that's the end goal anyways, just go ahead and jump both feet in. There's no reason for an buffer year or 2 with 16.
No doubt. All right, let's get a break in. So what would this mean for the rest of the bowl games? Would there be a Group of 5 playoff in addition to this? We'll get into that discussion as American Conference Commissioner Tim Pernetti was on a podcast recently talking about that. And there's been some discussion about what a Group of 5 playoff would look like. I've got some thoughts on that. We'll discuss that when we come back.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef. Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
In Eastern North Carolina, people appreciate things that are straightforward, honest, and dependable. For decades, our team has focused on cutting through insurance complexity for the communities we serve. And now, we're bringing that same mindset to our name. We're Flatlands Insurance Group, a simpler name that reflects the same local team, the same values, and the same commitment to the great communities we feel blessed to be a part of. Flatlands Insurance Group, your whole world is covered.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Inner Banks Media presents the return of Concert on the Common.
This year, we're live from the tailgate lot at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium.
Coming up May 21st, Trial by Fire, a tribute to Journey.
Join us Thursday, May 21st for Trial by Fire at the new Tailgate Plaza next to Town Bank Tower at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium.
Details at concertonthecommon.org.
We're live with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game. Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
Welcome back in, Hoist the Colors, segment 3. We should do HTC After Dark, where we discuss our off-air real-life problems during the break. But we're back here talking ECU football. And we talked about the proposal to go to a 2014 playoff. There's also been some discussion about a group of 5 playoff. And I have several thoughts on this. I'm trying to find the quote here from Tim Pernetti. Here it is. All right. He was on the Big Mountain podcast, American Conference Commissioner. And he said that basically we have a due diligence to take a look at a group of 5 playoff. And here's the quote. There is demand for more postseason football. You have 5 conference champions that are not going to the playoff. How do we create a new enterprise that complements the CFP? Maybe we play on Tuesday and Wednesday leading into Thursday. There's a gap there. From Sunday NFL, Monday Night Football, Group of 6 playoff, CFP, back to the NFL. He's kind of mapping out the week. He says you could create the greatest gauntlet for a football fan ever seen in life by doing something like that. He says we are having discussions about it, just knocking around the idea. I think there's something to it because it's a new enterprise, best on best in the group of 6. There's a lot of folks out there from the brand and media side that are really interested in knowing more about this. I think we have a responsibility to run that idea out, see what it looks like, and make a decision on whether or not it makes sense to pursue it. So he's kind of throwing it out there. He's not saying he's 100% for it, 100% against it. I will say this. If the group of 5 playoff, group of 6, whatever they're calling it now, as long as ECU and the conferences still have access to the major CFP playoff, I don't have a problem with this. You could make the argument that it kind of further widens the gap, but the gap's already wide. So as long as ECU still has a shot at the big playoff and you can play for that as the number 1 goal, then I'm fine with this. If you're going to be secluded with your own playoff entirely and have zero access, then I'm against it. That's how I feel about it. So I don't know. Any thoughts here, Bobby? I guess it'd give you a consolation prize in some regard.
Yeah, I am right there with you. I think you hit it right on the head with it has to be tied to the G5 still having access to the college football playoff. Because, when I first saw that headline before reading actually everything that was said by Pernetti, I was like, man, that's kind of turn into FCS. And then you're probably in turn going to have some ECU fans just tune out because it's not big-time college football anymore, which then in turn hurts NIL and roster building and all that stuff, and you just spiral downhill. But I think if it's tied to that, the other thing I love about this is playing on those off days to actually get the viewership and the eyes that are needed. So I think that is another great idea. I mean, that again, think of that week of college football, just Sunday NFL, Monday night NFL, Tuesday, Wednesday, G5 playoff.
Ohio at ECU in the first round of G5 playoff.
But people would watch.
Yeah, yep.
I mean, people love Maction, and this would be far better than any kind of Maction action happening on a Tuesday night.
How do you feel, Philip?
Tim Pernetti's probably not listening. Of course, he is in Greenville, so he could be. I like everything he said. I like that he's forward-thinking. I like that he's having, hopefully, these conversations with other conference commissioners. I'm disappointed he put it out publicly. The reason being, I think it's the right move if not every conference gets a seat at the table in the 24. But now they can go in and use this as ammunition to only give you the 23 plus one. To your guys' point, you still need that one spot minimum to help maximize revenue, because that's how these mid-major conferences stay afloat, is each conference gets, or each team gets a little bit of the money brought in from the NCAA tournament when one team from their league goes to the NCAA tournament. I still want to find a way to get all 10 in there. I know it's probably not going to happen, but I kind of hate that he showed his hand here. Like, oh, well, if you don't let us all in, this is what we're going to do, because I don't want them to use that as ammunition against us. It's probably not going to happen anyways. We're probably already out. This 23-1 thing's probably happening. So for all intents and purposes, it's probably right. But yeah, try and still keep your seat at the table. Have one. Because at the end of the day, as long as you feel like you can net in the black, even if it's the smallest margin, netting in the black is netting in the black. Now, don't have this travel, have these costs, pay for these flights, and net in the red, because I know exposure is good, but at the end of the day, netting in the red is not where you want to be, especially right now in college athletics.
Yeah, I think it's all going to come down to TV value. Kenny in the chat says, no thanks, I have no desire to play on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. And like from a fan perspective, that wouldn't be fun. But like from a viewership perspective, with what he's talking about, he approaches this from, what can we do financially to make this work, to make it worthwhile. I mean, the bowl games, you're already there. You're playing on random days at random times for TV with little attendance. So like, if you attach the word playoff to it, you probably get more viewership, more people engage with it versus the, whatever bowl game, ReliaQuest Bowl or whatever. I mean, it's like I think that sells it. I do wonder, like, from a branding perspective, if you're almost like separating yourself further from the Power Six. I'm reading this article. Awful Allison says there's a legitimate case to be made that a functioning Group of Six playoff may actually make the CFP access fight harder, not easier, and would give the sports power brokers a convenient off-ramp from ever-expanding inclusion. Like, I think that's a fair point, too. They can be like, all right, you already got your own playoff. Why do you need access to ours or something like that? So you'd have to be very careful about how you approach it, and you'd need guaranteed access. Also, if you win the Group of Six playoff, you can't even call yourself the champion because, like, the real best team's in the college football playoff. So what would they even call the champion?
Yeah, because
you don't want Group of Six.
You don't want G5 champion. Kind of be like Central Florida a few years back when they.
You'd almost have to like come up with a random like trophy and just.
They call the NIT champion the NIT champion. They don't call themselves national champions. Right. They just call them. So you'd almost have to have a name for the tournament, kind of like the NIT.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just find a really big sponsor to sponsor the tournament. I don't know. Dr. Pepper College secondary football player.
Mountain Dew, so we can have our light shows in Dowdy.
Yeah. So I mean. I do think, look, at the end of the day, it's worth a discussion. I do think there are a lot of caveats here that worry me a bit. So
here's where I love it most is, as a football fan, it allows me to watch competitive football, meaningful football, for a longer period of time.
I agree with that. Are there any concerns that, like, let's say a Caton Hauser, if last year, if ECU was in the Group of Five playoff, would he already, like, opt out to play – because he knows he's going to hit the portal,
Dude, I've been back and forth on this because, like, he already missed the bowl game.
Yeah.
I would think they'd be more intrigued about playing maybe a playoff game to get a championship of sorts rather than a bowl game. I think bowl game, they're automatically out. Now, you do add in the risk for multiple games or the risk of injury playing multiple games rather than just one bowl game, but still, as a competitor, you're competing for a form of championship.
Yes.
I would think that would be some driving force.
People are not going to like what I'm about to say. I don't even like what I'm about to say. Each round, the teams make money, and the players get X amount of cut of it. That's how you stop it.
I think, yeah, I mean,
and it shouldn't have to be that way. It sucks that we're living in this era, but look at the college basketball crown. As much as we've kind of complained that there's this new tournament, the players are making money directly, so they play in it. We let the dog out of the cat out of the bag. Sorry. I don't know where I got dog
Can't get
from.
it back in, yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's the best way to do it.
The other factor is if the CFP keeps expanding 16-24, I think the bowls are going to – I mean, they're already becoming less and less meaningful. They're going to continue to go away. And so, like, then you'd have all these programs that don't make the playoff. They're just kind of sitting at home in December, and this would maybe give them a chance to – you could maybe you could even tie in some of the bowl games with the playoff. I don't know if they do this on campus. I would assume they would try to do it on campus in most of these places, but still you could have, a sponsor. So, to me, maybe just another way, like Bobby said, to do more meaningful football. Because the bowl games just feel like a giant waste of time. And maybe this would end up being a giant waste of time too. But I don't hate the thought of at least discussing it.
Well, and just think of when we go to our pick'em shows and both of us have a opt-out list going through trying to figure out who's out of which game. And it's quite honestly annoying and it sucks because it's like, all right, these kids don't care about this game as much as the fans do. So, and that's what I mean by it sucks is from that perspective. And, yeah, I mean, having these – I mean, Kenny makes a good point. Tuesday night in Dowdy for a playoff game is going to be more challenging for fans to get to. But I also think –
Would you rather have that than nothing, though?
Yes, yeah. I would. And then also that's incentive. Like these teams that don't make the playoff, they start their offseason early. You don't get your bowl practices or whatever, which is probably – it's hard to use nowadays because of roster fluctuation and all that. You don't get as much.
Yep. And
the potential change to more of an NFL offseason schedule could play an impact in that as well.
I was going to bring that up. John Gilbert, others in the industry have said you fix the playoff first and you fix the postseason, and then the calendar kind of comes with that next. So, I think if you make these changes and you reform the whole sports calendar around it, college football calendar, then maybe it fits better and you don't have the opt-out problem. So good thought there for sure. All right, let's get a break in when we come back. Speaking of expansion, man, filling out these brackets, it's just not going to be the same, guys. 78, is it 76 or 70?
76.
76. I don't even know the number anymore. This is stupid. We'll talk about the expanded NCAA tournament field, and we'll discuss that to wrap up the show after this.
Get ready to bring on the savings at Greenville Toyota with major deals on brand new Toyotas like a Camry, $229 a month, or RAV4, $279 a month. Now's your turn to save at Greenville Toyota.
In Eastern North Carolina, hard work matters, and it always has. At Flatlands Insurance Group, we've been showing up for our neighbors since 1963, helping families and business owners navigate change, weather tough seasons, and keep moving forward. Decades later, our purpose hasn't changed: to help protect what you've poured your time and energy to, from your home to your health to whatever comes next. Flatlands Insurance Group, your whole world covered.
At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Your future is full of possibilities, and Pitt Community College can help you explore every option. You can earn a degree, learn a trade, transfer to a university, or launch a new career. We offer the support you need to succeed with flexible schedules, affordable tuition, and programs designed for the real world. Your path, your future. your college, Pitt Community College.
Register now.
Bring on the savings with new Toyotas from $159 a month at Greenville Toyota. Get huge discounts like Corolla's $159 a month or Tacoma's $249 a month. Save today at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Visit Larry's Steakhouse for a tender, hand-cut certified Angus ribeye. Other entrees include perfectly seasoned pork chops, chicken, or seafood favorites like shrimp, tuna, and salmon. Complement your meal with Larry's fresh 20-plus item salad bar, or enjoy it as an all-you-can-eat entree. Daily rotating favorites include meatloaf, chicken pastry, hamburger steak, spaghetti, pork chops, and more, all complemented with your favorite country sides. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, or our Sunday brunch, remember to support and eat local. Larry's Steakhouse.
The hunting and fishing event of the summer comes to the Greenville Convention Center, July 11th and 12th, bringing together the best hunting and fishing vendors, outfitters, and fishing experts, all under one roof. Special free events, including a mountain trout pond, indoor archery range, offshore fishing experience, interactive duck blind, and free seminars. Don't miss it. The Mid-Atlantic Hunting and Fishing Expo is July 11th and 12th.
Loyal and bold, we're the purple and golds.
Yo ho ho!
And we're back to Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. We've talked college football playoff potential expansion. We've talked potential Group of Five playoff. What is no longer potential, what is actually happening is a 76-team bracket up from 68. This has gone official, and we now know that we will have 4 different 16 versus 16 games and 2 15 versus 15 games to qualify for the 64-team bracket. And then there will be 6 at-large games, which will pit the 12 versus 12 on 4 occasions and 2 11 versus 11 seeds. So I think I got that right. Philip, they continue to mess with the bracket, and who's to say it won't even expand further in future years, but we now know we will have 76 starting next season. How do you feel?
I don't like 76, but I don't think that's letting more teams in as a problem. The problem is you are now eliminating more of these potential Cinderellas from playing on Thursday and Friday. We're already saying there's not enough Cinderellas. And now the last at-large teams used to be 11 seeds. It may be bled into the 12 line, depending on the year, depending on if you had some mid-major teams actually qualify with at-large, seeds. Now that's going to shift to the 12 and possibly even the 13 line. And if a 12-seeded High Point makes a run, they're Cinderella. If Syracuse does it, they just got hot at the right time. That's not what people want, so I've got a proposal. All 32 teams that win their conference, they're in the field of 64. You take the top 28 at-large, they're in the field of 64. That gets you to 60. The bottom 16 at-large teams, all the 15th place team from the SEC, this is what you asked for. You 16 teams playing 4 pods of 4. 2 games in each pod on Tuesday. Winner of those 2 games play each other Wednesday. The winner of the 4 pods, you make the tournament of 64. Now, the networks still get their 12 play-in games. The SEC is still happy because Mississippi State gets in as the 15th place team in the conference, and us, the fans, are still happy because Thursday and Friday stay protected and keep what makes this tournament great, and that is the potential to watch Fairleigh Dickinson upset Purdue. But when Fairleigh Dickinson gets eliminated on Tuesday, nobody cares. So there is your solution. They're not going to do it because they're idiots, but that's the way to keep all 3 parties happy.
I've got a proposal. How about Philip Pilkington for NCAA president?
I was just going to say the same thing.
I don't know if I want to get that into it.
Charlie Baker's making over $3 million.
Yeah, hey, Henry, so I'm going to take Charlie Baker's job, or I want to raise, if you're listening, $3 million. Can you match it?
I mean, you're just as qualified as my opinion. I'm all for your proposal. I like it. And to me, I'm with you, man. Like, it's super lame that you get this moment, these 15 seeds, 16 seeds, and you have to play a play-in game effectively. Like, I mean, imagine ECU. Again, if they win the American, they're probably higher than a 15 seed. But if they would have won it this year, they would have been a 15 or 16. Could you imagine, like, getting that moment and, oh, yeah, we're going to play Bethune-Cookman in the first round or somebody like that. I mean, I guess you're still in, so that's cool. You have a chance to win, but not a fan.
It's not the same, but that's where your games against Maryland Eastern Shore pay debt because, you end up getting experience against some of those smaller schools.
There you go. You nailed the formula.
We got it. No, it would suck. I mean, my brother was on staff at Wilmington, and we even talked about at that time, they played the noon game on that Thursday. So, like, the opening game, the 12-10 game against Duke. And it was like, it was awesome. Obviously, they're in the tournament. They're on that Thursday. But it also, because it was so early and they got knocked out, it's almost like you weren't in the whole feel of everything. I mean, the first 4 out or whatever it is right now already feels that way. Yeah. I can't even imagine with this many teams.
I rarely even, tune into the first 4.
Same.
So, I watched Texas, NC State just because NC State, know a bunch of people that root for them and, local interest. But, yeah, it's going to go. I think we're going to be over 100 before the end of our lifetimes.
It'll be 128. Yeah. They'll just add a whole other round.
So
that's terrible.
But this is the way it's going. It's all about the.
And then we're going to be telling our grandchildren. I remember when it was 64.
It was always 64. It was special to get in. And yet the Pirates still can't get into 128. All right. We are about out of time. Fun show, gentlemen. We didn't even talk ECU baseball, so quick round the horn. What do we think? Series win?
Sweep this weekend.
Sweep?
I'm feeling optimistic with hoops. Give me a sweep.
2-1.
Pirates sweep as well. Shake and bake. Pirates get it done. 3-0. Casey Normale in the chat says, "Let's go Pilk," and he says the Pirates will be playing Alabama A&M in the first round when they make it. So there is your chat contributions today. Awesome show. We talked about a lot. Appreciate Sup Dogs for supporting. If you missed any of it, check it out. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all our archive channels. Thanks to Bobby. Thanks to Philip. We'll see you Monday.